You think monopolies are bad, evil corporations crushing competition, right? You are wrong. Sometimes a monopoly isn't a crime, it's a desperate government's only lifeline. In 1926, the German government didn't just break up a monopoly, it created one. They took dozens of failing airlines and forced them into a single, state-backed colossus. Why? Why did a government create an airline monopoly in 1926? I'm going to show you the cold, hard math on why this happened and the secret agenda behind it. But first, let me know in the comments. If you were in charge of a country's broken economy, would you bail out failing companies or let them burn? I'll be in the comments debating the best answers. To understand why Lufthansa exists, you have to understand the absolute dumpster fire that was Germany in the mid-1920s. The country had just lost World War I. The Treaty of Versailles was a geopolitical vice, crushing the German economy with massive reparations and territorial losses. Then came the hyperinflation of 1923. Money became worthless. A loaf of bread cost billions of marks. People burned cash for heat because it was cheaper than wood. In this economic apocalypse, the idea of a commercial airline industry was a joke. Yet, incredibly, over 30 tiny airlines sprang up across Germany. Flying in 1925 wasn't glamorous. You were strapped into a freezing, noisy metal tube that flew low enough to frighten cows. It was dangerous, unreliable, and wildly expensive. None of these airlines made a profit, not one. They survived entirely on government subsidies. The Weimar Republic itself was shoveling money into a furnace. It was a system of decentralized failure, a perfect example of market inefficiency propped up by the state. You had visionaries like Hugo Junkers building incredible all-metal planes, but their airlines were bleeding cash. The government faced a choice: let the entire industry collapse and lose a vital symbol of national modernity, or do something radical. They chose radical. The government decided the competition was a luxury they couldn't afford. They didn't just suggest a merger, they forced it. They took the two biggest money losers, Deutsche Aero-Lloyd and Junkers Luftverkehr, and dragged them to the altar. On January 6, 1926, the ink dried on the deal that created Deutsche Luft Hansa Aktiengesellschaft. This wasn't a free market champion. It was a state-sanctioned monopoly, a national champion born with a silver spoon of government funding in its mouth. The effects were immediate. With state backing, Lufthansa standardized its fleet around the reliable Junkers aircraft. They expanded their route network aggressively, becoming the most technologically advanced airline in Europe almost overnight. On the surface, it was a triumph of rational economics, a single, efficient carrier replacing wasteful competition. It was a symbol of Germany's return to the world stage. But there was another reason for this monopoly, a reason hidden deep in government files. You see, the Treaty of Versailles forbade Germany from having an air force. No military planes, no military pilots. But it said nothing about a large, state-controlled civilian airline. Enter Erhard Milch, Lufthansa's first director, a brilliant manager and a fervent nationalist. Under his leadership, Lufthansa became a thinly veiled shadow air force. Planes were designed with dual-purpose capabilities. Passenger compartments could be quickly converted for bomb bays. Pilots were trained in long-range navigation and formation flying, skills far more useful for bombing runs than passenger service. Lufthansa's extensive night mail network was a perfect cover for training pilots in night flying and navigation over future enemy territory. The government wasn't just subsidizing an airline, they were secretly funding the nucleus of the future Luftwaffe, right under the nose of the international community. So why does this story from a century ago matter today? Because Lufthansa was the prototype. It established the model of the flag carrier, a national airline, often state-owned or protected, that serves as an ambassador and a strategic asset for its home country. For decades, this model dominated global aviation. Governments protected their national carriers from competition, viewing them as too important to fail. It took waves of deregulation in the late 20th century to break these monopolies and give rise to the budget airlines we know today. Yet the instinct to protect the national champion never truly went away. When crises hit, like in 2008 or 2020, governments still rushed to bail out their national carriers, proving that the logic of 1926 isn't as dead as we think. Lufthansa's creation was a masterclass in using a monopoly for state goals, both public and hidden. But it wasn't the only time a government-sponsored industrial project had a sinister shadow. The story of the world's most beloved car, the Volkswagen Beetle, is even darker, and we cover that story in this video right here.